Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long goes 1975. A YouTuber's on the rise, reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends. But Long goes 1975.
This is Tekken Advance on the Game Boy Advance, released in 2001 by Namco. This is actually the first Tekken game that ever appeared on a Nintendo system. Obviously, I'm continuing my look at some of the more impressive games that came out on the Game Boy Advance, as well as some of the better fighters on the system. And this ticks both those boxes. I have not played this in about 7 years. But basically, what it does is it uses rendered sprites instead of polygons, because obviously that was never going to happen, but they really do look the part and they're animated absolutely superbly. And obviously it also has a very restrictive button input system compared to what it would have on the PlayStation and or the arcade. Basically you have one button for punch, one button for kick, and you have shoulder buttons for throw, and I think that's it. Again, there's probably a little bit more to it than that, but I haven't played it in donkey's years. This was received really well back in the day, and more companies should have gone this route, particularly on the Game Boy Advance, because it really does feel like, you know, as watered down as it is, it really does feel like you're playing a Tekken game. I would have loved to have seen a virtual fighting game, you know, on this. But yeah, so basically rendered sprites, there is scaling, superb animation, the music, which obviously you won't hear till I get in the game, is absolutely fantastic, and it feels like a proper Tekken game. Seriously, if you've not played this, you need to get on this. It's not without its faults, obviously. It does get a little bit pixelated at times, and I'm playing it on a look at her face, and I'm playing it on a TV, which is going to do it no favors whatsoever. I have played this on a DS back in the day, and it looked absolutely superb. Now this is non-canon, and it follows the events of the King of Iron Fist tournament Tekken 3, which I'm absolutely fine with, because Tekken 3 is still my favourite Tekken game in the arcades and on the PlayStation. So start, options, blink. Right, I've got it on easy because I want to actually be able to show you at least more than 4 characters, 3 characters, 2 characters. Controller setup, no. Why can't I do my controller setup? Start gets me here. There we go. A button, kick, punch. A left button, change. Right button, throw. What's change? I don't know. Right. Ooh, records. Time attack, great survivors, character users, exit, exit. Arcade, verse battle, time attack, survival, tag battle, verse tag battle. So it's simultaneous 2-player if you want it. So there are options in it. You know, it's not so much Tekken Lite, it's more like Tekken Portable. See what I did there? Arcade. Now we're going to go with Paul, who was initially my favourite Tekken character after the first 2 games, until that there bloke then came along. But yeah, Paul first. The music is amazeballs in this. Right, so yeah, so it's going to look far more pixelated than I actually would do, because I'm playing it on a big ass monitor. Nice. Double nice. Playing this on a mini SNES pad, as you know. Oh, you bastard. So I think this looks superb. Yeah, it's, you know, it's rendered sprites, but there's no denying that they look the part, and the animation is, it's bang on the money. And also, this is 2001, and this is on a handheld. I mean, I know it's compared to all the handhelds before it, it's got a bit of grunt and stuff, but look at this. You would have lost your shit. I think that slowdown's probably emulation, or maybe it's not. Oh. I've got his his 1999 figure. Got it from Forever People. Gin, by the way. I do actually have Paul's as well. Right, so what does change do? Are you busted? Instead of standing around and working out buttons, maybe just get in there, Dave. Why does he sound like Kong? Sweet. I mean, if you're a massive Tekken fan, and this is, I know, I will say it, and this was the only way you could have played it, I think it's safe to say, you probably would be more than happy. I'm wondering those shadows are an emulation thing. I don't know. I no longer have a copy of this. Ah, Jack and all his variant action figure clones. So what I mean about the music? It's amazeballs. Yoink. How do I do that? That. Controls are super tight. Not gonna lie. I am getting a massively sore thumb though. I think that's this pad. I think he took that guy's wallet. This has got to be some of the best music, dependent upon your tastes, obviously, on the system. Reminds me of Blade. He can't slide along the floor, can he? He does that shoulder barge. Yoink. Good night, Gun Jack. Do you know what? Honestly, when I do these revisits and I get stuck into a whole bunch of games on a specific system, I mean, even though it's 22 years later, it does remind you just how good some of this stuff was. And it's weird, I still don't necessarily look at systems like this. I don't consider the PlayStation 2 a retro system. It clearly is. It's 20 odd years old and shit like that. But I consider that the birth of what modern graphics look like, you know? Decent, modern, respectable graphics where things started to look like, I wouldn't say photorealistic because it's not, or life, but you know what I mean. So when you revisit it, you realise that we had it good. Even 20 years ago, we had it very good. I mean, especially like, this is a cartridge system, and listen to the music. I'm gushing, I am aware of that. Oh, get some of this then, you know. That was not what I was supposed to do, because it would have been a lot more impressive if I was to get some of this and then swept a leg and swatted her in the face, wouldn't it? I can't hit Bruce. Or can I? Apparently I can. I'm sorry, this does not mean I don't love and or respect you. It's easier. I do remember it easier to do all the moves you want to do on an actual Game Boy Advance. I gotta dig mine out. I don't know where it is. And maybe mod it. Oh, you. Well, I can't swear at you, Bruce. Sweet. Get some of this in life. Like I've said, I know I'll say it before, but why only 4 buttons? And why no backlit screen? Criminal. Oh, King. Sort of arrogant bastard calls himself King. I forgot you can do that. Apparently it makes no difference. Look at that! You bastard! I say we test this bloke for roids. I'm just impressed he can fight out of that thing. I bet it hums in summer. That absolutely hums. Joink. Oh yeah, that. Apparently we only have 1 throw per character. A little bit slow down there. Again, that's probably an emulation thing. You know, all the games that this struggles with, this VGA GX emulator, you will be surprised what they are. It's like the Super Mario Advance games. It has terrible time running. Why? But then they can chuck stuff like this around moderately well. Like, I mean, that game slows down more than this. Unless this is slowing down because that's what it did. I mean, would this be demanding on the system? And why am I talking so much bollocks? And I'm out of moves. I should probably die so I can play as Hwang. But I don't want to. And remember, you can't spell Hwang without Haw. Let's see if I can just cheap it. No, she's learning. Her face in the select screen is the stuff of nightmares. That's why I kicked her in it. Give it a little bit of variation. Give you something else to look at. I used to hate him in the first game. And then he just became this cyborg Terminator, fucking Ninja Gaiden samurai bloke. Worst descriptive term ever, I am aware of that. And I loved him. I can slide on the floor, and I can do that. Why is this guy blocking like a very good blocking guy? Ha ha ha. I have no idea why I laughed like that. So anyway, if you had this back in the day, or you just simply revisit it now, and you were a massive Tekken fan, how did you feel about it? Did you think it was more than adequate? It, you know, I know it's not canon, as I said, but it lived up to the series it was portraying on inferior tech, which is a bit harsh to say because it's a handheld, but you know what I mean. Or did you hate it? Did you think, why did they even attempt this? They should have just left it on the big boy systems. Oh, a little bit, fucking slow down then. I'm very fond of it. I really, really am. Oh, there he is. There's my boy, Hwang. Get a cheeky throw in. Or not. Yoink. Oh, you bastard. I can't stay mad at you, Hwang. You are the best looking character in the game. He got his double stance. Does he have it? I doubt he's got his double stance on this, has he? That would be way too much to do. Can I just be cheap and keep doing that when he's on the floor? Yoink. Oh, one more cheeky throw. Sweet. Well, there you go. I'm not playing as a Wang. Turns out I'm a massive liar. Tekken Advance on the Game Boy Advance. I think this is an absolutely true story. My dad, he looks just like my dad. Seriously. Yeah, I think this is an absolutely fantastic game. It's more of a spiritual thing when it comes to, you know, emulating the Tekken gaming experience. It does feel like it though. As you see, you've got most of the same moves. But yeah, audibly amazing, graphically fantastic, tight controls, limited buttons obviously, but you think it's absolutely fantastic. Anyway, as always, I'd love to know what you think, especially you had this back in the day. And also, what are the other games you'd like me to revisit on this? What are the games do you think that this system, you know, it just did amazingly? And thank you very much for watching. I've got to get one in. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you later.